given that you're experts in some really unique things, could you elaborate on some of the deep sea mining knowledge that you have, since we have experts in the field?
Our project aims to look at the impact of extracting minerals from the Pacific and look at the impacts. So we went there for 6 weeks with a German vessel, all the disciplines, so geology, biology, oceanographers. And after that, there was a prototype that was built in Belgium. That's called Patania 2. Went to the same location and mined for 2 weeks. And then the scientists went there, and then we look out for the same parameters. And actually, in 2 weeks' time, we are going back there and to look at the effect over a year for this impact. So for my research, I'm an ecologist. I did in situ experiments in the food web, and I look at the plums. So this prototype, whenever you extract minerals from the deep ocean, it's not only you extract the minerals that are there, but also you have an effect on the plums. So there is a lot of resuspension in the water column. And these resuspension can actually have a major impact on the animals, so on the fauna, especially sponges, because they are filter feeders. So they collect their food that is in the water, so it can clog. But also, for instance, sea cucumbers. I actually look at sea cucumbers. They are actually the first animals to arrive in the deep sea whenever there is fresh food. So you can imagine if you mine the area and then you have plumes that is full of toxicity, can you imagine that these animals are also going to be impacted? And one of my studies there actually was looking at the food quality. So in terms of lipids, I'm not going to go into details, and looking if actually there is an impact or not, and also for the food web, and there is. and our objective is, so because it's in international waters, and the Clarium-Cliton zone in the Pacific is in international, and have actually the Seabed Authority gave little pieces of lands to different countries. So I am studying the Belgium side and the German side. And now with the end of the project, we need to make recommendations to the Seabed Authority to see if we can stop this idea of having mining the deep sea, because this is an abyssal plain, so it's flat. But they want to actually mine the seamounts. So imagine a mountain underwater, it's full of life, and they want to mine there. And they also want to mine the vents, the volcanoes that he studies. So if they do that, I can imagine a huge effect. But as a scientist, I cannot really say more than this because I don't have the results yet. But the results tend to tell me that there is going to be a huge impact.
Can I add something on this?
Of course.
So you have typically 3 types of environments that are rich in minerals. The nodules, on which Teresa worked, the seamounts that are actually the shallowest and most easily accessible ones, probably the first ones that will get mined, and the deep sea hydrothermal vents. These are huge accumulations of metals at the bottom of the ocean. For the seamounts, they just form crusts that are rich in titanium, among other good things for mining companies. And like everything that is that deep, it's so far from everyone's sight that there is very little concern right now.
Yeah.
In France, our president say, I would like to fund exploration of the deep sea and the mining capacity we could have there. And recently he changed a little bit, said, well, we will protect everything, so explore. But basically, there are some worries. And so Teresa worked in international waters that are administered by the International Seabed Authority. But other places in the world have this kind of the resources in their own easy. So I work in Papua New Guinea, and they decided to exploit their mineral resources from hydrothermal vents because they're fairly shallow there. And there is, as the scientific community, we just give advice. We say if we think we have to be careful about some of the points, but we can only advise these countries. Most of these countries are countries which have limited means of studying the potential impact. So we have to help them there, but we can only advise the deciding bodies. That's all we can do.
And
I would
just one thing, in Portuguese waters, we are actually very rich in seamounts and hydrothermal vents. So I'm actually scared that our government suddenly decides to mine our ocean. And if so,
Okay,
I hope not.
Linda?
I would like to ask a question to Dália. What's your next diving project? So what are you going to do next?
Well, I truly hope to go to the islands, Madeira and Açores, because of all the diversity and richness. And if we don't do something, perhaps there won't be a lot of opportunities to see such biodiversity, because we are talking a lot, but we are doing a lot as well, but not at the rhythm. We are degrading things, I think. I'm hopeful, but I don't think as much as I should be.
Thank you.